Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. On Canadian MJ, so one of the more brutal days in memory for the sector, at least in my memory, with everybody getting absolutely crushed. We have a lot to talk about. We'll talk about the major five. What also stood out was USMJ names breaking the correlation with Canadian MJ names and holding up a lot better. MedMen ended up pulling back about 7%, but it closed pretty much break even. And we had MRMD with a solid green day. So that's now perking my interest and making me watch very closely to see if this correlation does break and if the USMJ names as we head into the midterms and with rumors about potential federal changes in the US after midterms. We're watching to see if money is leaving Canadian MJ and going to the USMJ sector. And as far as today is concerned, I would say yes, it is. And the question is going to be, how much do we see from here? So SPY today started with some bull strength and then gave it back. And as we know, and as I say many times, correlations are always changing and they can be favoring bulls or bears. So the start to the day here, we had SPY consolidating, not doing much on the 5-minute, and then a very solid bull break to a new high of the day. At that point in time, CGC was pulling back all morning. We saw the same correlation with that bull move, but then when SPY was trying to form a bull flag for about 15-20 minutes into consolidation, in that 20 minutes, we were down almost near the low of the day on CGC. So as soon as we saw this SPY bull move hit a new high of the day and not have anywhere near that kind of impact on Canadian MJ, we could clearly say the correlation to SPY today favors the Canadian MJ bears. So then once SPY gave it back and had a very weak rest of the day, all that did was add to the downward pressure on the Canadian MJ sector. So here at the end of the day, we're looking at CRON down over 12%, TLRY over 16, APH 17, CGC 14, ACB 16. Huge bear day, and the fact that it has happened after what we've already been seeing is just magnifying the move to the downside. So on the 4-hour time frame, we had very clear setups heading into today. A beautiful equilibrium on the vast majority of names. The only equilibriums that weren't there, the only names that didn't have equilibriums were ACB, which favored the bears and only saw further downside in relation to that. But, I got a message today. I entered CRON today looking for a breakout. WTF. That was the message. Well, if we don't break resistance, we're not going to see a breakout. Breakouts don't happen just because you want a breakout to happen. If there's no breaks of resistance and we have a very clear pattern and we break support, that's the kind of thing where technically speaking, I couldn't say we're going to drop down and have an extremely bearish day Monday. But what I could say on Friday was, these are daily bear flags. The bears have complete control. It's up to the bulls to prove. The burden of proof is on the bulls to change this. And if we do not break this equilibrium bullish, I have no interest in playing Canadian MJ bullish. So we had the clear bear breaks. Bears ran away with it today. And now we are looking down at support levels that are they're few and far between because we're entering the zone where we ran up into the first day of legal sales and we didn't establish support on the way up. So the next support level for CGC is down at 30.20. Look at the 4-hour time frame. Ever since the all-time high, it's been a 4-hour downtrend. There's no fake outs there. If you want to be a patient bull and look for a longer-term entry, wait for longer-term trends to change. Again, back in 2017, the summer of 2017, we were patiently waiting for our trend change on the weekly time frame. The low was 490. We didn't get the bull signal until 667. That's giving up a ton of upside action just to be sure. We're giving up reward to eliminate a lot of risk. That bull break of 667 was the signal. Obviously, that worked out very well. So wait for the 4-hour trend change or wait for even a daily trend change. If you're looking for longer-term positions, don't try and catch these falling knives because these moves are being extended to the downside significantly due to the SPY weakness that we're seeing. And again, in the USMJ video that I did, I was talking about how it's the perfect storm in terms of the pullback after the first day of sales, the sell the news event, in combination with the market weakness. And the USMJ sector being lumped together with all of that is a buying opportunity, in my opinion. So for CGC on any bounce attempt, on the hourly time frame, it's going to form a lower high. It was just a straight drop all day today. So anything under $40 is just a lower high. So we have to see an hourly trend change first, and then after the hourly trend change, again, the 4-hour time frame has been a great guide ever since the all-time high, keeping the bears in full control. APH had the most space to work with. That's the wrong one. Had the most space to work with on the 4-hour equilibrium, but the bear flag just confirmed, and we followed through to lower lows. So the next support level on APH, we broke this support level of 1334. Next support is 1188. So again, we saw a rocket ship move from 1168 up to 1675. We established no support on the way up, and now we're falling back into those levels. Daily RSI levels are almost oversold. This is the time where I personally, on a 15% red day, after what we've been seeing, this is when I start to potentially look to build long-term positions. I'm not doing it right now, but if I were looking to with a long-term position and not actively trade, I would be looking to scale in 25% on a day like today, or maybe a third, 33%. And if we see more downside tomorrow, I would scale in another bit and then another bit, because the hourly time frame is telling me at least an hourly oversold bounce is coming sooner rather than later with the RSI oversold, and that allows me to put my stop loss at break even. So if I average in a couple times and my average ends up being 33.70, and then we get an oversold bounce on CGC, and that bounce goes up over 34, I can just set my stop loss at break even if I want to have zero risk, maybe nail the bottom, and obviously protecting all bull trades trading against this kind of environment. Those are the two scenarios. You're scaling it into weakness and you're remaining protective, looking for an oversold bounce on the hourly, or you're waiting for longer term trends to change. And when the 4-hour trend does change, I do expect, at least a 5-10% move of follow through, but it all depends on what the setup looks like when we get there. So APH on the hourly, anything under $16 is a lower high. So again, on the bounce, if we get this oversold bounce tomorrow morning, we know we're not going to see any significant change in trend for the bulls on any time frame. So just keep that in mind. ACB falling apart as well. It was already weak and just adding more downside. 765 is support, and we broke that level. So the next level is down at 7, or make that 667. So 7 psychological is the next support level. At this point, some of these names have pulled back well over 50% from their all-time high, ACB being one of them, Cron and CGC just now getting towards that 50% mark. That's very, very notable. But look at this weekly time frame on all these Canadian MJ names. We know there's going to be a solid bounce. We know the weekly time frame is going to form a lower high when it does bounce, but the rate of the pullback is so rapid. If we were seeing, stair steps down on the weekly, it would be a different scenario, but we're just straight up dumping, and that has me definitely looking for longer term bounce positions to last a couple of days. Cron on the daily or the 4-hour time frame, and again, these equilibriums, they cannot be more clear in terms of just the tightening higher lows and lower highs, and there was absolutely no signal to enter any bull position because we never broke resistance on these names. Clear bear break. The bears had very clear signals for follow through, and we're now looking down at the next support level on Cron of 663. And that broke. So 6 psychological, and then 622 is the next level after that. Again, hourly time frame, we're looking for a lower high to form. Anything under 804 is a lower high. TLRY, very clear bear break of 97. If you went bearish on that 97 break, which was that double low of consolidation, 7% move to the low of the day, more than that, ended up being about a 10% move to the low of the day, and it was just a clear bear break with follow through. 4-hour RSI oversold, daily RSI approaching oversold. Next support level now after 88.08, we are looking down at 87.50 and 82.20. So the bottom line is the bears are in complete control. Again, at this point, if you are long term and you're getting crushed every day, stop watching. Stop watching every day, or you're just going to go insane because you have your game plan established and you have to stick with it. If you don't have stop losses in play, it's obviously not the time to be exiting any bullish positions, and you have to just look back in months. Look once a month. Make that, your goal. But otherwise, there's opportunity approaching, and anybody that has cash right now is really liking this kind of weakness because, again, we will see opportunity for these bulls, significant opportunity. We just have to wait for the market to shift And again, watch my SPY video tonight because this bull volume at the end of the day, the last 15 minutes, is definitely notable enough that it could be marking something. We need follow through tomorrow, of course, but the last 15 minutes of buying in the tech sector and in SPY was very notable, and it was the most significant bull 15-minute stretch that we've seen on this entire pullback. So the question now is, can the bulls follow through with that into tomorrow? And what does that make Canadian MJ look like? How does Canadian MJ respond to a market bounce? Again, have to change the hourly trend. At this point, we're just looking for hourly oversold bounces to form hourly lower highs in all of these names. And again, start scouting out those USMJ because it is clear that that correlation is shifting. So I was a bit all over the place in this video, and I apologize for that, but there's lots to talk about. And it's hard for me to, tailor the audience, whether we're short-term traders, whether we're having cash, whether we're trying not to cry about long-term positions, whether we're looking for long-term entries. So there's a lot of different bases to cover, but the bottom line is the 4-hour time frame is going to be our guide. If I had to choose one time frame and one time frame only, I look at the 4-hour, I say, okay, there's no fake outs. If we were seeing fake outs and breaks of resistance and then breaks of support, I wouldn't care about this time frame. But because it's just a very clear guide and there has not been one fake out on the 4-hour chart, that's why we're watching the 4-hour as the most important time frame to indicate when a real bounce is taking place. So again, even if we bounce tomorrow, it's not going to be a real bounce in my opinion because it's not even going to change the hourly trend anytime soon. Give me a 4-hour trend change, and we'll be looking at a significant bounce following through on the daily chart. So I appreciate you watching. I'll organize my thoughts a bit better for the next video. And maybe midweek, maybe Thursday. I got time Thursday. So Thursday, we'll do a small cap video. And then over the weekend, we'll do a USMJ video. And I'll start distinguishing 3 videos: Canadian MJ, small cap Canadian, and then USMJ. And we'll see how often I can do all those videos. Hope you have a good day. Bears had a great day. And if you have cash, definitely time to start looking for scaling in. And if you're scaling in into weakness, just do it very slowly because it can always get weaker than you thought it could. Do some good things. See you tomorrow.